This is News Channel 20 at 6.
Good evening. It is day 77 without a state budget, and experts say that they don't anticipate an agreement passing anytime soon.
Lawmakers in both the House and the Senate aren't even scheduled to return to the Capitol this week, leaving those impacted by the stalemate again without answers. News Channel 20 State House reporter Jordan Abadea live at the State House this evening with more on the impact their absence is leaving.
Adam and Maggie, experts say that both Democrats and Republicans are struggling to fight a war of public opinion as they try to come up with a budget agreement. But experts also say the optics of nobody coming to work this week doesn't bode well for either side of the party argument. All of the state's party leaders haven't sat down for a meeting together since the end of May. Governor Rauner hasn't held a press conference in the capital city in weeks, and lawmakers aren't even scheduled to be in session this week.
There's no real sense of crisis, even though this really is basically a house of cards. I mean, we're propping things up with court orders. We're propping things up because we're able to give people money because we're paying bills from the last fiscal year.
Governor Rauner did talk to the media in Chicago last week, saying negotiations are continuing throughout state government, but he didn't sound too optimistic.
Discussions are continuing. They're happening most every day at different levels with different members of staff, myself, with certain legislators. I'm talking to members of the Democratic caucus as well as Republican caucus almost every day. So far, the majority party is refusing to really discuss reforms to any significant degree.
Lawmakers are in continuous session, meaning they could be called back to Springfield at any time. Experts say Governor Rauner's choice to use the budget as leverage is a bold move, but one that could pay off if Democrats succumb to the budget pressure.
Well, the governor could end up being a big winner or a big loser. It's a high risk, high reward kind of a game that he's playing, and the legislature is betting that they can wait him out. And at this point, it does not look like we're going to get any resolution soon.
The House is scheduled to be back here in Springfield and back at work Thursday of next week. But until then, hopefully, party leaders are saying that they might come to some sort of meeting or get something done. But we'll have to wait until at least October for a budget agreement to be passed because the Senate isn't scheduled to be back in session until October 6th. Live at the Capitol, Jordan Abadea, News Channel 20.
Jordan, thank you. New at 6 tonight, no state budget means the Rauner administration has stopped paying health care claims for at least 146,000 state workers. Those affected are covered by the state's self-insurance plans. Payments to private companies running managed care plans will continue for now for another 158,000 state workers. Reports say it's unprecedented for the state to stop paying claims, and it's unclear whether health care providers will demand upfront out-of-pocket claims.
Also new at 6, federal prosecutors say Aaron Schock has, quote, deceptively refused to hand over all of the documents they've requested. That's part of the investigation they've conducted into past spending by the ex-congressman. The documents in question include emails between Schock and staffers, his campaign treasurer, his sister, and personal friends. Schock's lawyers have until the end of the month to turn over those documents. In tonight's Crime Watch, this Menard County woman is now behind bars accused of murdering her husband. Investigators say 51-year-old Sherry Dirks shot and killed 53-year-old Al Dirks. Investigators say that they got the call around 7:30 this morning to the couple's home in the 200 block of East Hickory Street in Athens. Residents say that they thought that the Dirks were generally good neighbors and they meant a lot to the community.
I lived here 19 years and I have nothing negative to say about either one of Sherry or Al. They helped me out, helped other people out, and caused no problems. I think they were great people.
The Dirks owned an apartment in Athens, an apartment complex there. Neighbors say that they volunteered to plow their driveways come winter. The Athens Police Department says that this is the first murder there in at least a decade. It is, however, the third Springfield area murder in the last week. All are believed to have been the result of domestic disputes.
An update out of Jacksonville this evening. 61-year-old Robert Gill, the man accused of shooting and killing a man in the police department parking lot, now faces 3 counts of first-degree murder. Gill was released from the hospital this afternoon and was immediately taken into police custody. He's currently behind bars in the Morgan County Jail on $3 million bond, and arraignment is expected tomorrow. Investigators say Gill shot and killed his former son-in-law, 36-year-old Andrew Mall, at point-blank range Friday night. Records show Mall was worried for his life in the months leading up to his death. We'll tell you about the extra safety measures he used to keep his home safe and the legal action he took in the months before his death tonight at 10. Suicide now being considered a possibility by the Lake County coroner in the Fox Lake police officer shooting death investigation. Chicago Tribune reporting the lead investigator says every possible theory is being looked at right now, and sources close to the investigation say one of those theories asks if Lieutenant Joseph Glinowitz shot and killed himself on September 1st. Investigators say the case is still being treated as a homicide. This former Altamont resident is admitting he extorted several teenage girls into sending him naked pictures. Stephen Mislich faces at least 5 years in prison. He's set to be sentenced in December. Mislich hacked into the Facebook account of a 17-year-old high school senior at Altamont Community High School and got several girls to send him naked pictures. Since one of his victims was 16 years old at the time, Mislich also pled guilty to child pornography.
News tonight. You may have noticed a lot of state police patrolling Springfield Railroad crossings today. That wasn't a coincidence. Police are cracking down on railroad-related offenses to raise safety awareness. Newschannel 20's Brendan Cullerton shows us what they're looking for.
One of the things state police are looking for today is pedestrians crossing the tracks not at pedestrian walkways. Plenty of people do it, but it's actually trespassing, and it could cost you up to $500. State police say there are plenty of other infractions like that one that more people need to know about. State police say Springfield drivers needed to be taught a lesson on safety.
Not a lot of people are aware of railroad safety, so I figured it's, being downtown Springfield, there's a lot of railroad tracks, there's Amtrak that comes through here, so I figured it would be a good way to increase awareness.
And they taught that lesson by handing out tickets for infractions. The one that got the most? Stopping in the middle of the tracks, which can mean a $500 fine. Or driving before the arms are all the way up.
A lot of people, they just want to cross the tracks in a hurry. They don't want to wait for the lights. The lights come on about 15 seconds before the arms actually go down, if one of the crossings actually has arms.
Police had several different railroad stakeouts set up, both to raise awareness and to monitor how often the rules were broken, which they say was too much.
It's not worth your life. Just stop, wait for the train, and then move on.
They also say it's important for drivers to pay attention for pedestrians around the tracks. Police say their goal here today was not just to hand out tickets, but to increase awareness and educate the public on an area that can be a little dangerous. From Springfield, Brendan Cullerton, Newschannel 20.
Well, still warm, still a little bit breezy outside, but overall pretty comfortable as long as the humidity stays down. But that could be creeping up a little bit later this week. Plenty of sunshine all throughout the day. A few high-level cirrus clouds could be setting up. Nice looking sunset over the next couple hours. So get those cameras out and ready. As for those temperatures right now, right around 80 degrees, or at least right along the I-72 corridor from Jacksonville to Champaign right now. Otherwise, mostly upper 70s. And the winds, a little bit breezy out there, gusting up to around 25 miles per hour, helping keep that warm air locked in place for the time being. As for tonight, not a whole lot going on. 57 for our overnight lows, pretty typical for this time of year. Temperatures will go up by a couple more degrees in the coming days. I'll let you know how much warmer we're expecting, all coming up in just a few minutes.
Still ahead, with Rochester and Glenwood set to square off Friday night, we introduce you to the storied sports traditions at each high school.
Welcome back. For this week's Ideal Auto Sales Friday Night Rivals Game of the Week, we head over to the Central State 8 Conference.
The undefeated Rochester High Rockets will face off against the Titans of Glenwood High.
Newschannel 20's Michelle Lunnan has visited both schools and shows us what each has to be proud of so far this year.
Well, Maggie, Adam, the Rochester Rockets may be 3-0 so far this season, but that's not all they're celebrating. The team is looking back on 2 decades of success.
The end of another tough practice for the Rockets as they prepare to face one of their biggest rivals of the season.
I'm expecting a good football game going out there.
Aside from being undefeated so far, the Rockets are celebrating a major milestone this season, 20 years of football.
To get kids to play in a program that promised no success, I mean, that had no experience of playing football in the beginning, was a huge accomplishment, I think.
Steve Taft helped found the program back in 1995. Over the years, he's witnessed several accomplishments.
We won 5 state championships in a row. We're 77-6 over the past 6 years, with a Central State 8 championship involved there too.
I think we had about 48 kids on the team. You know, we got about 100 now and have had 100 for a while.
Derek Leonard says in the 11 years he's been head coach here, the program has evolved.
I remember those kids the first year as much as, and we were just struggling to win, and now we're 5-time state champs.
We have students and parents that buy into the program and what it takes to make successful.
For the players, a strong coaching staff is important.
We just love to work. I mean, we love working for Coach Leonard, and he's really taught us everything we know.
Now, Taft says this football program has given many of its players an opportunity to go to college. Meanwhile, the Titans are off to a great start this season with a 2-1 record. But for Glenwood High, their football team is only one of many sports programs in the school that's receiving recognition.
When the Glenwood Titans aren't bringing home a W from the football field, more than likely one of their other sports teams is.
Everybody here, they're great competitors. Everybody who plays on a sport, they're working and they're always about their business.
And year after year, that hard work continues to pay off. This season, the Glenwood Athletics Department once again being recognized with the Central State 8 All-Activity Award.
That's given to the school that's had the highest finishes across the board in all sports in the Central State 8.
In the Titans' case, 18 sports teams continue to bring home state championships.
And brought hardware back for soccer, girls soccer, boys soccer, track, baseball, softball.
Not to mention national championships in swing choir and even their Scholastic Bowl competitions.
These kids, I think, coming out of their homes, there's a high expectation for them to do well in school, not just in the classroom, but in everything that they do.
Athletic Director Dan Rourke says testing scores here also some of the best in the state.
They say it's not bragging if you can back it up, and I think our students back it up.
Now, if you can't be in the stands Friday night, you can still check out this big Central State 8 matchup on our sister station, the CW23. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. I'll bring you live reports from the sidelines throughout the season.
As we had a break, we take a live look over the capital city. Beautiful sunshine streaming through the clouds. It was another gorgeous day, one of several this week. Thomas takes a look at when those temps start to cool down after the break. But first, here are today's closing market numbers.
Memorial Medical Center Heart and Vascular Services Tower Cam, overlooking Lake Springfield. Now, your Storm Team 20 forecast with meteorologist Thomas Patrick.
It's looking pretty out there once again on our tower cam, looking west, overlooking Springfield. Sun starting to set just a little bit earlier every day out there, so it's beautiful. Get those cameras out. In fact, that sunset at 7:08 p.m. this evening. As for those temperatures during the day, well, still a little bit warm out there, if not a little bit breezy as well. 85 degrees, our high temperature from this afternoon. So here's the satellite radar. Again, mostly sunny throughout a better portion of the day. A few clouds starting to appear on that western horizon, so it looks like it's going to be another beautiful sunset setting up in just about an hour's time. As for the winds, still out of the west, a little bit breezy, around 10 to 15 miles per hour sustained, gusting up to around 20 or 25 miles per hour throughout the day. So a little bit breezy, but it's keeping that warm air locked in place for the time being. Still right around 80 degrees right now. It's 80 in Champaign, Decatur, Springfield, Jacksonville. Still 81 in Lincoln, 77 right now out of Taylorville. So moving forward, oh, not a whole lot of change for the rest of this week. Still some breezy southerly winds. Temperatures above normal in the mid to upper 80s, even close to 90 degrees, especially on Thursday. This should be the warmest day of the week, but otherwise still plenty of sunshine out there. As for Friday, now we start to add some thunderstorm chances back in the forecast. The first first wave might actually be Thursday evening to Friday morning. This is around 6 o'clock in the morning. A cold front moving a bit closer to the area. So along with that will come the chance, or at least a scattered chance, for showers and thunderstorms in the morning hours on Friday. Could catch a little bit of a break in the afternoon, but this front stalls out. So as it lingers right across central Illinois, that will also give us another chance, or a second wave of energy come late Friday afternoon into the evening, or even the overnight hours. So that's something we're definitely going to keep an eye on, and you should as well, especially for the schools. If you got kids heading out to any of the football games, whether they're on the gridiron or even in the stands, this might affect that evening entertainment. A little lull in the afternoon could be possible, but the best chance for thunderstorms on Friday are going to come in the evening. So it's likely to impact in some way or another your high school football plans that Friday evening. As for any severe weather, we're not quite sure yet. We're monitoring for those ingredients that set up, and there's a lot of uncertainty. So give it a couple more days, we'll be able to give you more details, and you can always get it on our Facebook page first. So if you got 2 seconds today, just give us a like, either on my page, on the WICS ABC News Channel 20 page, or any of the Storm team will be all over this forecast as it does start to get a bit more active come Friday. As for tonight, pretty quiet out there, 57 degrees the overnight low. Same thing for tomorrow, once again, around 87 degrees for a high temperature, so sunny, warm, a little bit on the breezy side, a little bit more humid to finish out the week as well. Again, Friday will be the best chance for rain and storms, especially in the evening hours, but then that front comes through the area, cooling us down into the mid-70s for highs this weekend, with those lows back into the low 50s.
Photographers and sports directors aside, a little rain won't hurt anybody. We'll just keep an eye on that lightning. We hear you. You'll get your chance in a second to rebut, but the lightning's a thing we'll keep an eye on. So newschannel20.com for that forecast.
Especially our crew out there. Lightning cameras don't mix too well.
And the fans too, and the players. Let's head over to Maggie with Donnie for maybe a word of joke here. Donnie?
Says the guy who will be at home while all the rain is taking place, right?
Well, Donnie, some changes are taking place this week with football as far as the prep polls, right?
Yeah, that's right. A loss can go a long way, Maggie, and in some cases, it has you on the outside looking in. I'll tell you which teams are in or out next in sports.
Now, sports with Donnie Tillman.
Good evening, everyone. In sports, we know that the offense gets the glory the majority of the time. And in the case of the Fighting Illini football team, its head coach is providing plenty of props to the boys moving the ball so far this season. In fact, Illinois head football coach Bill Cubitt believes his team can get better on offense. The head coach is taking extra steps to make sure that his team is balanced in the passing attack and with the ground game when they hit the field on Saturdays.
Some teams, they'll go in team and they'll go 60-70% of the time and run the ball in team. Well, you get okay there, but then you can't throw the ball. So you're trying to be a 50-50 team and try to make it simple for your guys up front. It takes a little bit of time unless you're 330, 340 pounds and you're a bunch of maulers. That's not what we are. Offensively, we do what we have to do. I'm not going to use that excuse not to move the football.
Hey, the latest Illinois high school football prep polls are out today, and the results of week 3 have resulted in some movement up and down the top 10. No changes in Class 6A. Sacred Heart Griffin remains the top dog with 9 first-place votes once again. However, with Glenwood's loss to Southeast on Friday, the Titans fall from 6th to outside the top 10 this week, receiving votes. Centennial also received votes this week in Class 6A. In 4A, Rochester retains its first-place status, picking up 13 first-place votes yet again. The top 5 in 4A remain the same, but look who's joined the party. Mount Zion, one of our Game of the Week contestants next week, cracks the poll at number 10. In Class 3A, welcome to the party, North Mac. The Panthers enter the polls this week at number 8. St. Joe Ogden moves up 1 spot this week to number 4 in the poll. Unity also jumps a spot to 5th. Monticello makes 2 moves from 8th to 6th. And there you see North Mac, the new kids on the block at 8. And whereas Williamsville, you say, the Bullets drop from 3rd to outside the top 10 this week. In Class 2A, Tuscola still number 1. They picked up 2 more first-place votes, raising their total to 11. Moreau Forsyth remains 4th. Auburn is back in the top 10 this week, tied for 10th. Athens falls from number 5 to outside the poll. Sullivan also received a vote. In Class 1A, St. Teresa and Carrollton received votes this week.
We're 6 weeks away, but it could be a busy playoff season again for you
I
guys,
think it will be.
A lot of traveling with local teams. Don't go away. Thomas still has one last look at your Storm Team 20 forecast. Well, we'll talk about the rain in a moment, but let's talk about the good news first. A whole lot of sunshine.
Yeah, there's a lot in this forecast to love for a lot of different people. It's still going to be warm for a couple days. In fact, up to 90 degrees. For the rain lovers, we have, well, Friday for you. And I know not all of us want rain on Friday, but then it does cool off for those who are hoping for a little bit of fall. We'll be back in the mid-70s for next week. But now I realize why they stand the weather guy and the sports guy on the opposite side.
You guys apart.
Did you see that 90 on Thursday? Really something for everybody here on this
I don't
forecast.
mind rain. I just don't want it on Friday.
Okay, fair enough. That's our time, everybody. Thanks for watching. We'll see you right back here tonight at 10.